Mic check. Can you guys hear me? Can you please give me some feedback in the comment section? Am I loud and clear? Do you hear me loud and clear? Eshca with his first miss of this match. This is Blessing Mara, the 21-year-old Blessing Mara versus 24-year-old Eshca Chimbwanda. It's a very good day to you all. Thank you for joining us. This is the 4th edition of the Queen's International Tournament here in Bulawayo at Queen's Sports Club. Eshca still has both lives remaining. Blessing, on the other hand, only has one. What a show, what a display, what a feat. My name is Priscilla, Press the Voice. Hope you enjoy this match. It's a race to 7, or in other words, a best of 13 frames. Not the ideal cue ball positioning, but maybe can snooker. Maybe play drawback, aiming for the yellow. That's a long cushion, something like that. I think that's what he's gunning for. Get the cue ball to return to its original position. Snooker well played and balls well developed. Well done there. Good thinking and good execution. Thank you all for joining us. Hope you enjoy this battle between these two. Napatatindo, high five, and thank you for the feedback. Rack and shoot blitz. Kev Musha, thank you. High five. And thank you for joining us. Difficult part for Eshca to make here. That it's do or die. This is the last 32 match of the second life. That angle looks too wide. Okay, maybe it's my misjudgment. All right, a little too wide, but most importantly, it's a legal shot. A no foul. And his red is better positioned now. A lot harder to defend. Blessing needs to make it count. Make sure Eshca does not get to 2-0, or else he might struggle to contain the pressure in future frames. With just 2 yellows to go, will Blessing Mara, 21-year-old youngster, up and coming. Oh, unfortunately, that wasn't to be. After making position so nicely, Eshca back in business. and I guess it's only as good as mine. This is likely to be game down. High five, Reliance Doe. Good to see you. Tireto, hi there. Mandangu Nigel, high five. Eshca's on the black. I'm not too pleased with the positioning there. Maybe cut to center, but he has to make it count. Make sure he does. 2-0. He leads. Frame number 3 loading with Eshca to break. Eshca won the toss and opted to break first, so he will be breaking at all odd numbered frames, while a Blessing breaks all even numbered frames. It's alternate breaking, remember, it's a race to 7, and the players have 90 minutes within which to conclude their match. If the race to 7 is not done within that time frame, the player leading proceeds to the next round. If the scores are level, the players are then just allowed to complete the ongoing frame. Frame number 3 loading. Dry break from Eshca. Not a very clear-cut frame, few problem balls, but nothing 1 or 2 cannons cannot solve. Table closed, reds it is for Blessing. Blessing being the underdog between these two players, but definitely not to be underrated. Young and upcoming potential star we have in the making here. My name is Priscilla, Priscilla Voice. Thank you all for joining us. Who is your horse? Is it Blessing? Is it Eshca? Can I get some predictions in the comment section? How do you think this race will end? What will the final scoreline be between these two? Blessing holding his own here pretty nicely. Nice and easy does it. 3 reds remain. Shouldn't be too difficult for him. Pot at the bottom right corner pocket. The bit of a top spin. Most likely left English may be necessary here to ensure he can position himself nicely for a pot to center, just avoiding a collision with any of Eshca's yellows here. And that will do. Although sometimes it's a little more difficult to manipulate your cue ball when it's so close to an object ball. I guess hence the need for left English, which I think he should have applied, but he's still alright, I think. He can still manage, and hopefully for his sake grab the first frame in order to contain any pressure he may start to feel. He needs to grab a bite too, win his first frame, and maybe cruise on. Meanwhile, on the next table, we have Royd Kabwe from Zambia versus Caesar Chandiga from Uganda. And the scores there stand at 1-1. That's a last 16 match. Second life, with Royd having 2 lives remaining, Caesar only 1 life remaining. Caesar's other life was taken by Kelvin in the last 32 of life 1, final scoreline being 7-3. High five, boy Luto. Hi there, Norbert Manjere, Mark Konye. High five, Maximo Munyani. Yes, Eshca still has 2 lives. To answer your question there, we have 3 Zimbabweans, if I recall correctly, that still have 3 lives intact. I think it's a total of 7 players who still have both lives remaining, and that would be Harry Martin from South Africa, Jerry Naidu, South Africa, Eshca from Zimbabwe, Masiment from Zimbabwe, Pele from Zimbabwe, Royd Kabwe from Zambia. Got a new blessing for grabbing your first frame there. Unfortunately though, he scratches on the break and I tip Eshca to clear. This is highly likely going to be a reverse run. A red apple, a term we use here in Africa informally to refer to a reverse dish. Normally players of this caliber have a way of punishing you ruthlessly for such a break, opening up the ball so nicely and fouling in the process. It's likely to be a reverse run. Munashe Runganga, you said, Priscilla, you said Blessing is young and promising. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. I'm definitely sure he's young. He's 21. Blessing Mara here. And surely, I mean, he is promising. And he's made it to the 3rd round of this tournament. Did manage to knock out 2 very good players. So yes, he is a young, promising talent here. Eshca thinking, plotting, and planning away. I think the yellows are looking a lot more favorable than the reds. Judging from the way he handled his free shot, I think he's actually gunning for the reds as opposed to the yellows. I think the 2 yellows that are closest to the left center pocket were a little demotivating, for lack of a better term. They're a little demotivating for Eshca. Elijah Kaisa is predicting Eshca to win 7-3. Peter Maradzika is predicting 7-4 to Eshca. Narundu Charles reckons Eshca is improving, however he has to work on a rail drive. Okay. Boy Luto says, I want Eshca to win 3rd prize so he can challenge Jerry, please. Okay, who are you rooting for 1st and 2nd position? Our defending champion from last year, Aiden Joseph, unfortunately is missing in action. He was the 3rd edition winner. That was last year in April. Aiden Joseph from South Africa. 2nd edition of the Queen's International Tournament in December 2023 was won by Caesar Chandiga, while the 1st edition was won by Jeremiah Naidu from South Africa. That's in the men's category. In the women's category, there was no women's category in December 2022. Then the 2nd edition, December 2023, the women's category was grabbed by Juliet Nika from Zambia. Then the 3rd edition last year was won by Rukia Naiga from Uganda. She's looking to claim her position, defend her title. And Eshca is looking to grab it all and make a run for it. Good cueing, good potting, good positioning. 3 reds to go. I think this may just be a wrap. Boy Luto, you say Royd to win. All right, let's see how it goes. He is leading, by the way. He's playing against Caesar and currently leading 2-1. I see Kahiso Takanelo. Okay, you were now just asking for the Caesar and Royd score. I'll try and keep you abreast as much as possible. Keep giving you updates, and if you fancy taking a sneak peek into that game, you can catch it on Break and Finish live YouTube stream. So Caesar versus Royd is currently streaming on Break and Finish live YouTube. Meanwhile, back here, Eshca on black, which even I, an amateur, would not miss. Safe to say it is a 3-1, now 4 frames down out of a possible 13 frames. Eshca doing a very good job. Well done there. Frame number 4. Sorry, 5. Frame number 5, loading. Terence Azunza says, Priscilla, I believe in Eshca. All right, support your own. Rally behind him. He's hungry for that win. He's actually, well, fun fact, he's actually the player who's won the most, or rather the biggest pot so far in Africa on all our African tournaments that we've ever had in the history of black ball. And that was last year in May in Kenya at the Timbuktu tournament. He bagged the first prize, winning $11,600 with runner-up being Jinte from Malawi. So yes, that's been the biggest number 1 prize in the history of black ball in Africa, and Eshca has gotten that. Second biggest, I reckon, would be the PPT tournament, Prophet Makaniwa tournament, held in Harare in December of last year, which Caesar won. First prize was $6,000. Chana was also a very good competitor when it comes to high prizes. $6,000 on the line. At the tournament was $5,000, and this one as well has upped its tempo and come to the party, meeting those big pots that they're seeing as well elsewhere in the world, or elsewhere in other countries, elsewhere in Africa. Number 1 is going to get to walk away $5,000. Retake for frame number 5. Norbert Manjere predicts 7-3 to Eshca. Maxwell Manyanyi is predicting 7-4 to Eshca as well. Tosh Shumba, who you say is a round of 32 or 60. It is a last 32. This is a last 32 match. Second life. This is a very weird looking break. I've never seen such a break ever. I don't even know how that is very possible. To have all balls remaining on this bottom half of the table while the black alone goes the opposite end. Interesting. Anyway, table closed. Yellows it is for Blessing Mara. Eshca focusing. I tried to cut that ball thin. Didn't do a good enough job at it, but has opened up the balls quite a bit. There was too much of a cluster. Balls are open, although not out of trouble yet. We are, but shouldn't be too difficult to attack at this. On edge, Zebi asking, Eshca is from which country? Eshca is Zimbabwean. One of the finest players in Zimbabwe, has represented his country on a number of occasions, and definitely a force to be reckoned with. Eshca on a roll here. Good top spin there. Cushion bounce. Nicely positioning himself for the last red on the top half of the table before working his way to clear the last 4 reds at the bottom half here. And the black is sitting very precariously in the pocket there. If you hear some loud claps and cheering, that's because of what Royd just pulled off there, a killer shot. Remember, next table, we have Royd versus Caesar, and the scores there currently stand at 3-1. It's Royd 3 and Caesar 1. Royd still with 2 lives, and Caesar with 1. Meanwhile, back here, Eshca is also leading 3-1 versus Blessing. So Tani Livugwanbe, you're asking who's streaming Jerry. Ooh, careful of that black. I feared for him for a bit there. Eshca claps, being the gentleman that he is. Oh yes, Jerry's match is being streamed on William Soko's page. Some good cueing here. I like the concentration, the focus, and the potting prowess. Blessing looking calm though. He's not letting the early lead by Eshca get to him. Well, at least that's what I think. Just judging from his facial expressions. Or if he is feeling any pressure, he has a very good way of containing it. But an old man once said to me, it's not pressure unless you're not prepared. And I think he came to the party very well prepared. 3 reds remaining for Eshca here. Looks like an easy enough clearance for him as he's set to cruise on to that 4-1 scoreline. Royd doing the same on the next table, looking to record a 4-1 scoreline. Let's see if that will come to pass. Boy Lucha says Royd is afraid of Caesar, the body language. Okay, I don't know. However, Royd is leading a 3-1. Like I earlier highlighted, and with that, Blessing concedes the frame. It is 4-1. Eshca now needing only 3 frames to proceed, while Blessing needs double that. A very, very difficult task the youngster has ahead of him against the mighty Eshca. Let's see what tricks he may have up his sleeves. Will he manage to pull back against the mighty Eshca? He needs to engage a handbrake, a super powerful one at that. Eshca is in cruise mode and delivering the most. Boy Luther reckons Royd to win 7-4. Okay. Kahiso Takanelo. Alright, you say, oh, okay. It's Charles 1 and Ganda Ganda. No, Charles 5, Ganda Ganda 1. Alright, interesting. That's happening in the hall. We are in the cage, or what we call the cage. We have different sections of Queens where we are getting to play and watch and stream these matches. The crowd chants Caesar. And the next table there is punishing Royd for a mistake. He made a very silly mistake, failing to clear, and now Caesar pulls another one back. 3-2 it is. In table 16, it's a Royd 3 and Caesar 2. Monares Stoffel says Eshca will win the comp. Can I get some of your predictions? Who do you think will be Queen's International 4th edition winner, who will brag about getting to knock out every other opponent, 139 other opponents, to get to go home with the first prize of $5,000. Will it be Jerry? Will it be Eshca? Will it be Harry? Will it be Caesar? Will it be Royd? Will it be Calvin? Will it be Tanya? Will it be Frederick? Well, Frederick from Rwanda made an appearance, but he's doing very well. One consistent player who bowed out quite earlier on is Jinte, our runner-up from last year, Jinte the Malawian. Can I get some of your predictions? Who do you think will be our winner at the end of the tournament? Who will take the first prize money? Good shots, good queuing, and hopefully good finishing. I hope he manages to clear this. Alright, Chris Nyashanyu reckons Eshca to win the tournament. Okay, noted. Tinashe Munyisa agrees with you. Mac Upi Brilia says Jerry to lift. He's the champion. Kahiso Tiha Canelo reckons number 1 will be Eshca, number 2 Harry, number 3 Spax. I think at least one of these three will be in the last 4 of the tournament. Very consistent, very good players. He just listed there. Kewana Peter says Caesar Jerry. All right. Kabelo Chiganze reckons Eshca. Lynch SK says, I'm saying Ganda should lose 1 life and Harry Houdini Martin 2. How about Royd? Royd still has 2. How about Masiment, Jerry's opponent? He still has 2. Poncho Morazzi reckons a final is Jeremiah versus Caesar. You never know, you never know. Brian Londo, high five. Lynch SK, he says, who's this Blessing? What's his nickname? I don't believe he has one, but his full name is Blessing Mara. Meanwhile, in the next table, it is Caesar 3 and Royd 3. Caesar's pulled back from 3-1 scoreline, trailing. Back here, good part of that red by Blessing Mara, 21-year-old, promising and talented. But will he prove strong enough or good enough for the mighty Eshca? Eshca Chimbwanda, aka Zama. His nickname is actually Mzamo. Roman Chisa says Masimen to lift. Phineas Chakara says Jerry and Eshca final. Kahisa says Eshca playing like Mamelodi Sundowns. Nsizi Mabaso, you ask how many lives Caesar has. Caesar has only 1 life remaining. His other life was taken in the round of 32 of the first life, taken by Calvin. He lost that one, 7-3. You hear some large... apologies for that interruption, I'm back. Some loud chanting in the background after Royd just missed a shot and given the game back, so to speak, to Caesar. And remember, Caesar is a bit of a wounded lion, so to speak, at the minute. After losing 1 life, he has 1 life left and is playing like his life depends on it. No pun intended. Anyway, good shooting from Blessing here. Not the best cue ball positioning, but maybe it'll do. maybe. To make position for the last red and bulk, or maybe just cut it from a long range position if it does go past the black, or otherwise maybe hit it to go cushion first and then it'll hit onto the black and finally part. Ooh, that was almost fancy. Then slice on that red required now. Doesn't look like it has a clear path, but yes, he could make use of the black to guide it in, or a bank shot to the bottom right corner pocket here. Bank shot almost well executed. That would have been beautiful. That would have been brilliant. Eshca back in business. I think it's likely to try and snooker at some point, unless he manages to play cannon now to open up some of his yellows. Yes, there we go. Not the ideal kind of opening. This would have been much easier for him had he managed to pot the red. Skill shot. But this is where we see what separates the big boys from the small boys. Even with the amount of pressure he's faced with the red sitting in the pocket, he knows he needs to stay focused and composed, and with his eyes on the ball. Ooh, I felt that. I felt the pain for him. And chance back to Blessing. Who's looking to further narrow the gap between the two, looking to make it 4-3, and has done so successfully. Meanwhile, on the next table, it is Caesar 3 and Royd 4. Remember, it's a race to 7 or best of 13 frames with 90 minutes within which each match has to be concluded. If there's no victor by the end of that 90 minutes, then whoever is leading gets to proceed when the time lapses. If the scores are level, then they just get to complete the ongoing frame. Frame number 8 here. Eshca leading 4-3. In essence, a Blessing needs what Eshca has. Eshca needs what Blessing has, which is 3 and 4 frames respectively. He's trying, he's playing some very good pool. Quite impressive, Blessing that is. Against the mighty Eshca. Oh, and I've just witnessed an unfortunate scratch on the break on the next table by Caesar. And his fans are chanting Royd to clear. Anyway, Blessing on a roll here. Take your time, take your time. Easy does it, you have plenty of time still. Just focus and make it count. All right, he tried with the cannon, but the position of the cue ball sold him out a little. Tinatenda Harrison Rapo says, whoa, this Mara guy is dangerous. Yep. Underestimate him or underrate him at your own risk. I reckon Eshca should just snooker for now. He's off of any pressure he may be feeling. I'm doing very well, thank you, Ali DeBoss. Thank you for joining us. Thank you all for your delightful company as we get to watch the big boys battle it out in the game we love the most. Well, I hope it's the game we love the most. Anyway, Eshca attacking away. 6 reds to go. Christian Shanyu says Blessing is on fire. Makupis says I see Blessing win this game. He is a good shooter. Christian Shanyu says Blessing is on the road of creating a name for himself. So, care to share some of your predictions? Can I hear what some of you think in terms of who will be the victor at the end of this, on what this final scoreline will be between these two lads? As some of you have already acknowledged, Blessing is playing some really good pool, making a name for himself against the mighty Eshca. Do you think he is good enough or has what it takes to demolish Eshca? Meanwhile, on the next table, Caesar versus Royd. Scores stand at Caesar 3, Royd 5. So there, Caesar's trailing 5-3 and on his last life. If you hear some loud chanting in the background at the minute, that loud cheering is proudly sponsored by a foul break by Royd, who scratched on the break just now. Anyway, meanwhile, back at the ranch, back here, Eshca in a bid to try to make a point here, try to make a mark, and show Blessing who's boss. 4-3 it stands. If you just joined us, thank you. Thank you for joining us and hope you're enjoying the show. What a dance, what a spectacle, what a show. Good use of our time for sure. It's any man's game really. May the best man win. Nice lift English. Quite classy. Eshca may want to kick the yellow out of the way, the yellow that's sitting close to the bottom left corner pocket here, in order to pave way for the black, eventually, or otherwise go center first, potting center while developing the black. Either or really, or just pot this one clean, and then maybe bank black to the corner pocket bottom right, or try and displace the yellow or the bottom left center corner pocket. But no, I don't think there's enough of a gap past that yellow for the black to go. You could develop the black now. He's in a good enough position too. Didn't do that well enough. Eshca planning on a skill shot here. That would be a massive one. All right, he just planned to kind of overtake and just leave Blessing in a position that's difficult to take off from. He does have a bank shot as an option available to him. That would be the shot. Ooh, I did not see that coming. I did not see him cutting that ball, and I did not see him snookering himself. Unfortunately, he is snookered. He could just use a short rail here, which is easier to get the yellow, or alternatively, he could go up top, which is what he's doing, thereby increasing his chances of potting. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be. Chance back to Eshca, chance to make it 5-3. Meanwhile, next table, it's Caesar 4 and Royd 5. Well done, Eshca. 5-3 it is. 2 frames to go for him, while Blessing needs a double that. Christian Sanyu reckons it'll be Eshca 7, Blessing 6. Alpha is predicting an Eshca win, 7-4. Maxwell Munyanya says, Priscilla, who's your favorite pool player in Africa? Let's see. I'm very greedy, hey? And I can be quite indecisive. And I quite fancy myself a little bit of a salad, a mixed bag. So I have many players I fancy in Africa. Among them are Eshca, Caesar, Royd, Jeremiah, Harry, Maluva, Hussein, Ibra, Kelvin, and 17 others. Tinashe Tsikira says he reckons it'll be Eshca 7, Blessing 5. Moss Sedge is asking where can we watch Caesar vs. Royd. Caesar vs. Royd is currently streaming on a Break and Finish live YouTube page. Terry says if I was playing anyone else besides Eshca, he would play to win. But when you play your friends, you don't give a true fight. Oh really? With $5,000 on the line, are you sure about that? Friendship goes flying out the window, I assure you. There's no friendship on the table. It's a war. And it's 6-4 on the next table. Royd 6 and Caesar 4. It's getting tense. It's tight. It's amazing. What a show. Kelvin carefully plotting and planning away. Looking to deliver that killer finish. I see someone in the comment section there saying Eshca's looking tired. Is he? I think Eshca's looking serious, not tired. Anyway, let's see how this pans out. Some loud cheering here in the background is because of the dry break that Royd just delivered there against Caesar. Caesar's chances are getting a little bleak here. Still possible though, but he has to pull 3 straight frames against the mighty Royd, who's sitting at the top of the hill. It's 6-4 there and 5-3 here, with Eshca looking to reach the top of the hill first. He's definitely got advantage, with him being the player on the table and him leading 5-3. The odds are tipped in Eshca's favor, definitely right now. Can Blessing pull off a comeback? And can Caesar pull off a comeback? Shangirai playing some relatively defensive pool here. I believe his nickname is Shangirai. That's a Blessing Mara. 21-year-old youngster from Harare. They both are from Harare. Both Blessing and Eshca are Harare-based players. Eshca taking his time. as he should, in order to deliver the goodness. What a brilliant shot. And the rest, like my good friend Peter would say, the rest is a formality. Not difficult for him to make position for the black. Just needs to avoid a collision with the red that's close to center. Or maybe he's actually trying to see which path the cue ball will take if deflected by that red. Seems like it's a good enough predicament for him to find himself in. It'd be good enough for the black, and that's that. Good enough. I think it's safe to say 6-3 it is. Eshca 6, Blessing a 3. Manata Makubaza says, as Zimbabweans, if one of our own doesn't win this tournament, then it wouldn't hurt to see Caesar winning it. Okay, all right. Julo Mujuma, okay, I suppose you came a little late to the party. I have answered this question. I had answered it earlier. You asked, where's Caesar versus Royd's game being streamed? It is being streamed on Break and Finish Live YouTube page. 9 frames down here out of a possible 13. Blessing needs to win 4 straight frames against the mighty Eshca. Very difficult task to achieve, but not impossible. He needs to engage a super tight handbrake and win 4 frames straight. Tatenda Mashora says Royd is always a problem to Caesar. Oh yeah, for sure. I think there's at least 2 other occasions where those two were pitted against each other in a tournament, and Royd was the victor in that one. And Royd still has 2 lives, while Caesar only has 1. Eshca has 2 lives. Blessing Mara only has 1. Other players with still 2 lives are Harry from South Africa. There's Massiment. Well, he's currently on the table versus Jerry. So both Jerry and Massiment have 2 lives each. Whoever loses between the 2 of them obviously will have 1 life remaining. Some other loud cheering happening just next door as Royd is maybe on the verge of a finish with 3 balls remaining and the black to officially knock Caesar out of the tournament. Caesar is one of the crowd favorites and maybe, just maybe, may bow out under the hands of Royd. Ladies and gentlemen, Caesar the Scorpion is officially out. Congratulations, Royd. The game ended 7-4 in favor of Royd. Tough luck to Caesar. Have a good journey back home. Anyway, meanwhile, back here, Eshca still means serious business and still has 2 lives and still very much in the running for the money. Good shot right there. Good use of Blessing's red to enable or aid a part of his ball in this bottom left corner pocket. Eshca shooting away here, taking his time. The precision though comes from years and years of practice and drills, experience and exposure to become the great player he is today. We have several great players gathered here at the Queen's International Tournament, the 4th edition, from a total of 12 different countries, with Mozambique and Rwanda having their maiden appearance here. Good to have them on board. The sport is growing in leaps and bounds. 2 balls to go here for Eshca. Will this be the last visit of this match? Maybe, maybe not. Says, when will Royd see himself in position 1 in these tournaments? Because he's a good player. He actually won quite a big tournament last year. It should be in August, if I recall correctly, which was held in Tanzania. It was quite a big one. Similar one to this kind of tournament, like the Queen's one. Grabbed first position there. Skipping past the likes of Aiden, Jerry, Caesar. Royd is a big player. He's made a name for himself in the game. 2 reds here for Blessing. Very, very pleased at himself for the opportunity to have another go at it, another turn, another opportunity to make it happen. Manata Makubaza says, with Caesar out, this tournament is now an easy win for Jerry. Put your money where your mouth is. Are you sure about that? We have several big players here. Several players that are very capable, and so many others that still have 2 lives remaining. Eshca just asked for a bit of a timeout and conceded this frame. So action will resume in about 5 minutes. And break time's over. Action resumes. Eshca fails to close the table there. Yellows are now up for grabs for Blessing. And with 30 minutes remaining on the clock, there's still ample time for us to see this match to a conclusion, a full race to 7. But are yellows ideal here? Yellows or reds? I actually think reds are a little better positioned than the yellows. But let's see, what will Changirai go for here? Between the two, he'd be the underdog, but he's a very good player himself. He's a good player. Slowly making a mark, a name for himself when it comes to this game. He's younger in the game, younger in age as well, but don't underrate him at all. I see somebody asking there, Manzini Piri asking, is Jerry still in? Yes, Jerry is still in, but I believe he's just lost another life, his second life, to Zimbabwean Charles Maricano, aka Masi Mentoad Amos from Blessing. Unfortunately, Eshca to punish him, or at least he'll try. Jonathan says Caesar's officially out courtesy of the Zambian boys. Yes, he earlier lost to Kelvin Gandu, 7-3 was the final scoreline, and now lost to Royd Kabwe, both Zambian lads. The Zambians are doing the most. But who will be crowned the eventual winner of this tournament? Will it be a Zambian, a Ugandan, a South African, a Zimbabwean, or what? We still have one Ugandan remaining in the comp, several Zimbabweans, 3 South Africans. That's Tammy, Jeremiah, and Harry. Harry's still having both his lives intact and is playing very good pool. Look out for him, eh? Watch this space. Harry Houdini Martin. Very good chance of lifting the tournament there. I like your sense of humor. You're currently on the way to the airport to take Caesar. Unfortunately, Caesar, well, he tried. He had a good run in the earlier part of the competition, but got knocked out in the last 32 of both lives. And with that, Eshca's been punished. 6-5 it is. With 1 frame separating the two, Blessing needing 2, Eshca needing 1. Frame number 12 loading. Tinashe Artiman, you're asking how many lives does Eshca have? Eshca still has both his lives intact, while Changirai only has 1 remaining. Did I ask if there are any Zambian players in Malawi? There is one from Malawi, Stanford Griven Jinte, but he has been knocked out. His last life was taken earlier today. I'm not sure who beat him, but yes, Jinte is out. I remember correctly, he lost to Mafia from Zambia. Several Zambian players as well taking part in the tournament. Those still in the running are Moses Chisimba, that's aka Adebayo, King Ade, we have Royd, Kelvin, Mafia, and Victor. Several representatives from Zambia. He handled that shot so nonchalantly. I think he didn't take enough care, or maybe he was too speedy at it. Take your time, young lad. You have plenty of time remaining, more than 20 minutes remaining on the clock here, I believe. James Daniels asking who's the one Ugandan. I believe Ian still has one life. Actually, I stand to be corrected. There may be two. I'm not sure how Joseph Kaswazi fared in his last game, as I've been busy here. He's playing elsewhere. I'm not sure if Joseph Kaswazi did manage to win his match, or if he is done playing. Delight Sungisai asking, Pressing is from which country? He is a Zimbabwean based in the capital, Harare. We are here in Gobulawayo, the second capital of Zimbabwe. It's live, it's happening, it's lit. What a show here at the Queen's International Tournament at Queen's Sports Club. That's where it's happening. That's where all the action is at. Lots of celebrations, lots of tears. And now we're down to a final 16 of Life 1 and final 16 of Life 2. Well, when this round ends, that will be the standing. 16 men on either side. I keep seeing people in the comment section asking how many lives Jerry has. Maybe a little late to the party. Yes, Jerry has one life remaining and Caesar is out. Eshca still cruising on. Not a very easy clearance to pull off here. He could part center. The center that's to the right-hand side of the table, but needs some serious cue ball manipulation to position himself for the next spot, or could start with the other red to center. But this is by no means an easy clearance, definitely not an easy frame to clear. There's some bit of cue ball manipulation needed to nicely position himself for that killer finish. Blessing may or may not have another turn here, but this is Eshca. Very creative player he is planning out a killer shot. Eshca focused, and thanks to the yellow, helped him reposition his cue ball for a nice clearance. London, Bob. No, I'm not South African. I am Zimbabwean, born and bred. Yes, I lived in South Africa a few years, but I am proudly Zimbabwean. Eshca focuses to deliver that killer finish. Let's see. If there isn't, I can't quite tell from where I stand if there is a clear path to center. Probably not. Otherwise, he would have already handled that already by now. He could try take it to this bottom left corner pocket. That's an option. He's good at this cuts. Let's see what he decides to do. Kigula Bonnie asking who beat Jerry to take away his one life. A Zimbabwean by the name of Charles Maricano, aka Masiment, a national team player. There we go. I spoke too soon. The pot was not to be, and is left a little aid, so to speak, here at the bottom left corner pocket for a blessing to utilize at a later time in order to pot the yellow that's along the rail that's gunning for this bottom right corner pocket. Are we going to see a decider here? Nice work there from Blessing. Pulling back, engaging a super powerful handbrake. He just needs to make sure and make it count. What a mess up. That yellow ideally should have just come to this bottom left corner pocket. It was a guided shot. Eshca had made it easy enough for him by leaving quite a big gap for his yellow to come through, but some not so good cue ball management has left him in this position where he has to look for plan B, a bank shot. A snooker is not advisable here. Easy enough for Eshca to escape. He just needs to ensure the bank shot is okay. Never mind how the rest of that sentence was to go. Chance back to Eshca. Blessing looks to the heavens as if to look for some motivation. Definitely disappointed in himself in failing to force that decider, well, for now, because Eshca is likely to clear. Eshca onto the black. I think he'll pot. Hi Tutu Radiator, good to see you here. You're a little late to the party, but just in time. Just in time to see Eshca deliver the killer finish. Not so difficult a ball for him. And it's down. Congratulations, Eshca Chimbwanda, as he sails through the last 16 of the second life. Tough luck to Blessing. He gave it a good run, but it was not to be. Thank you, guys, for joining us. It's me, Priscilla Puster Voice. Till next time, I'm out. Stay cool, play cool, and be blessed.